Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks, Andrea, and thanks, John, for inviting me today and to give the opportunity to talk about the hospitality and food service agreement that we're operating with your sector, and also to play the role of bin man. I'm not sure how I volunteered to do this, but anyway, let's see how it goes. So I'm going to talk about Wrap's story, and I'm going to... Yep, here it is. I'm going to talk about why does wasting food matter? Talk about the value of food and the effect of wasting food. I'm going to talk about the agreement that we've set up and been running for about 15 months now. I'm going to talk about how, if we work together, we can accelerate change within the sector and we can all benefit. Right. Well, I've been introduced as someone working from Wrap. Who is Wrap? Well, this might have been a different question if it had been earlier in the week, because we got a lot of traction, a lot of news yesterday about the food we waste at home. We were featured on all the major channels and major newspapers, so perhaps a few more have heard of Wrap than they had earlier in the week. We're government funded. We're experts in the field of resource efficiency. We do a lot of research. We're an evidence-based organisation, and we give practical advice to make a difference. We work with a wide range of partners, so that could be local governments, it could be trade bodies, like the Green Tourism, it could be individuals, local authorities, etc. And we're proud of our reputation, really, as being the experts in this field. We started with waste, we're still involved with recycling, but resource efficiency and the closed loop economy is more of our field now. What we tend to do is to identify where there's a market failure. So perhaps there's a market failure on collecting food waste, for example. We bring people together to look at what the options are to solve that. We put in an intervention, and then we move away and address the next market failure. So really it's about identifying where the market failures are, gaining evidence, and collaboration with a range of parties. So we have this vision, it's fairly ambitious. It's a world without waste. And we have these two priorities. So it's about minimising resources in products and buildings. So it's about designing out waste. So it's working with the likes of Ecover to look at their packaging and working out where we can reduce waste in those type of products, reduce waste in buildings, etc. And also, we do recognise that things are wasted, and we want to make the best of them. And we don't want them to go to landfill. So it's diverting priority materials. And it's not just priority materials like critical materials in our mobile phones. We're talking about food waste here. It's a critical material. It can be reused, it can be redistributed, it can go to anaerobic digestion or composted, as we heard earlier on. So we've got some ambitious goals. And they're huge, they're quite scary at times. Millions of things, billions of things. So it's the pillars of sustainability around both economic and environmental. So it's about both reduction at the top, and it's about growth. There's great opportunities for growth. As you've seen growth, you can grow your business by addressing things. By being greener, you become more efficient. Okay, so we're about action, we're about changes, we're about challenging barriers. So, as I said, we are an evidence-based organisation. So somehow I volunteered to look at the evidence here today. And I think when Andrea introduced the fact that we're going to monitor food waste, it's made a difference. Because if I walk over to this bin, I can pick it up. I know I can. I've already tried. It's about a third full. It's... you probably can't see this, and I'm glad you can't really. It's interesting what's in there. And it's also interesting what's left outside. There's a lot of bread in there. The delicious homemade bread that we talked about earlier on. There's a lot of bread. There's some cheese, a bit of fruit, some crackers. That's fairly typical. Carbohydrates are often the things that are wasted. What's interesting is outside, there's half a cow still that's sitting on the table. There's some ham. There's a few other things. And that's going to be reused, which is great, which is fantastic. So the audience here has taken on board the challenge and eaten their plate waste. There's still going to be prep waste in the kitchen. There's still some food left outside. I was just talking to Charlotte from Eliora and Chris from at Bristol about what's going to be done with it. It's going to go downstairs, it can be used with staff catering, it can be used with the catering on the ground floor, which is great. And they also told me some of the food that we ate at lunchtime, that lovely terrine, was from last night's reception they had here. Perfect. It's the right thing. They're doing the right thing, which is great. The real deal. So, that was a bit of ad hoc research. It showed it was quite interesting. I did bring some gloves in case I needed to delve in, but thankfully I'm not. But we have paid people to delve into waste bins and look where the waste is. You know, it's important we recognise where the waste is. Where in the supply chain is it? Is it in prep waste? Is it plate waste? Has it been soiled in preparation, etc.? So it's important that we look at evidence, because if you don't know where the waste is, you can't really address it. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be releasing probably the biggest survey that's ever been done on waste arising in the hospitality and food sector. And it's going to be about the true cost of waste. It's going to recognise whether food's wasted, how much it costs, not just how much it costs to dispose. We know that. You all know that. You pay a bill to get it disposed, but you also pay heating costs to warm it up. You pay refrigeration, you pay someone to cook it, you've bought it in the first place, and then you throw it away. So there's lots of costs, and we'll identify that. We'll identify it for all the 9 subsectors within the hospitality sector. So whether it's a quick service restaurant, and whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a pub, etc., we'll have that information. And we're going to identify where it arises in the kitchen, what it consists of, and more importantly, what you can do. So we've got an overview document, but we've also got 9 subsector information sheets that are going to be available. So I'd say keep in touch, look at our website, learn from others, take our evidence and use it. Okay, so why does it matter? Well, it probably matters for a number of reasons, but there's one of them. There's pressure, there's rising production, there's rising population. It's pretty sobering to think that 1 in 4 calories grown, 1 in every 4 calories intended for human consumption is never eaten. It's pretty obscene. You know, when we've wasted food today, and we're living the dream, aren't we? We understand it. We're wasting food. Everybody's wasting food. From all the way from the farm to the fork, food is being wasted. So, we did a bit of research in 2009, and that gave an indication of how much it costs. So they are. It's pretty big figures. Be better if we weren't wasting it, 724 million. And we're updating those figures, I say, in a couple of weeks' time with new data. There's some tonnage, again, huge amounts of tonnage from this sector, of which nearly half of it is food. So we're wasting money with money we could do other things with. Okay, so I just hinted at this iceberg of the true cost of waste. So you've got your visible costs. They're usually your disposal costs, who you pay to your waste provider to take it away. But you've also bought it, you've cooked it, you've stored it, you're paying people to move it around, etc., etc. This probably about 10 times the actual cost of disposal is really his food waste costs. And, you know, we represent lots of small businesses here, some larger businesses, some mid-sized businesses. We group it all together, and it's huge. And then if you start looking globally, it's absolutely massive. I was speaking to a colleague the other day, and he was telling me that to produce the food that we waste, an area about the size of Mexico is used to grow wasted food. It's astounding, isn't it? So with all this background of information, we set up what we call the Hospitality and Food Service Agreement. We launched it in June last year. So Wrap looks at the evidence, makes interventions, brings people together, and that's what we're doing. We weren't experts in this field. We know about recycling. We know about minimisation. We know about behaviour change. It was a sector we'd not worked in, but it was a sector that obviously has there's some challenges. So we've got over 170 signatories and supporters already, and I think 7 or 8 of them are in the room. We work with all the governments on this, and we cover about 22% of the sector by turnover are engaged and making a difference. And so the initial focus really is for those signatories is to identify how much they're wasting. Where are they now? And it's a bit like, it's not as crude as what we've just done, but it's about identifying where the food waste, where the packaging waste is in their operation. Is it in preparation, is it plate, etc. So that's what we're doing. We're measuring where we are now. At the same time, we're developing tools and support and engaging with the sector, and then we're making interventions, and we're going to go back and measure again, see what, and evaluate what difference we've made. So we've got two targets. We've got a prevention target, 5%, that's across the whole sector, against a baseline. And then we've got a waste management target, and we talked about we heard about the importance of composting before. Yeah, there's going to be some food waste. What do we do with it? Does it go to landfill? Does it get composted? Does it go to anaerobic digestion? Well, there's our target. We want to increase it to 70% what gets diverted from landfill. So these big targets, and they'll make a huge difference. So how we do that, we've got a steering group. As I say, you know, we're really fairly new to the sector. So what we did is we brought people together. So we've got the Sustainable Restaurants Association, working with the BHA, working with the IOH, with the BPPA. They're on the steering group with the governments. They direct our operations, give us ideas where to make the greatest hit, look at where the gaps are in our knowledge. We then have set up a number of working groups. So we've got the Scottish Working Group represented. There's a representative from Edinburgh who I've shared the table with. And then we've got a food waste prevention, packaging group. They're tackling big issues together and then sharing the results across the sector. So for example, in waste management, we've got McDonald's and the Spirit Group looking at backhauling, and then we've got Sodexo looking at procuring, the best way to procure a waste management contract. Now, it's not just information for them, it's information for the sector, so it gets shared across. Good practice, case studies gets shared across the sector. And then in Scotland and Wales, they're looking at what matters to them. So it's about collaboration, it's about sharing, it's about learning. And we're collaborating with the Green Tourist Business Scheme in Scotland. Very proud to work alongside them. There's an offer at the moment that the first 50 Scottish businesses who sign up to the Hospitality and Food Service Agreement will get a reduction in cost for the green tourism. So if you're one of those businesses, get in touch, work together, sign up and take advantage of this offer. Okay. We can't always give one-to-one support, but what we can do is bring best practice together in one place. And what we've got on our website is an information finder. You won't be able to read this, but basically there are pages there of case studies and best practice, whether it's in hotels, whether it's in restaurants, whether it's in pubs. What people have done, we brought them together in one place. You can search, so I want to learn about cutting prep waste in a hotel. Yeah, there's information there. This is what this hotel chain has done. This is what this pub chain has done. This is what this restaurant's done. It's there in one place. It's searchable. It's free. Sharing best practice, learn from others. We've also got some tools as well. So this is a commercial kitchen. This is the online resource centre. It's all in one place. You can do it at your own time. What's relevant for you, for your business, you can learn. So I'd suggest good place to start if you haven't already. Let's go online, have a look at what we've got, see if it suits you. Talk to us, become signatories, learn from others, move on. What we realise is that, you know, my team at Wrap is quite small. You know, we work across the nations. We can't give that much one-to-one support. Who can give one-to-one support? Who goes out there? Who sees businesses in this sector? Well, environmental health practitioners do. And we're starting to train them in food waste prevention. So they can go out there, they can share lessons, as well as doing other things. They're out in your businesses. They can talk to you and give you good, solid, proven advice. So we've started these workshops. We're adding value to their operations. It's going down very well. They like it. It's a nice thing to talk about with their clients. It's adding value. It's a carrot, an incentive. It's good. And we also recognise that, and I think it was John that was talking earlier about engaging with the next generation. Well, the next generation in our sector, or some of them, are in catering college. So, and they haven't really been taught about sustainability before. So we bring these people together. We're working with City and Guilds, with PACE, with People First. Bring them together, put a package of training together, and let's launch it. And that's what we've done. And we've got modules on sourcing, sustainable commodities, sustainable practice, waste prevention, management, purchasing, etc. It's just getting it right, getting it inbred, changing behaviours. I think that James was talking about getting people to do something, change it once, it becomes their behaviour, it becomes the norm, and this is where the next generation will have an understanding of sustainability when they get into their start their catering careers. This is what we're doing. So we're doing some launches next year, and also there are also plans for inclusion in catering courses at Westminster, Bournemouth, Birmingham and West London. So again, making a difference, working with as many people as we can, spreading the message in a different way. Okay, so where does food waste come from in this sector? Well, we did, a year or so ago, went back to restaurants, to pubs, to hotels, and talked to people who wasted food. It was very in-depth. We talked about who wasted food. What class were you? What gender were you? Where were you when you wasted food? What type of food you wasted? Why did you waste it? What do you feel about the food that you waste? Does it matter? And and actually, there's quite a lot of people who do waste food. When we go out for meals, it's approximately about 30% of people waste food. What do they waste? Well, they tend to waste potatoes. They tend to waste chips, vegetables. What else do they do? Well, why do they do it? Why do they do it? They can do it, yes, they can't. But 46% of people blamed, and that's the word they use, the size of portions. If I go for a meal with my family, I'll get the same portion size as my wife and my children. And have they got the same appetite as me? I don't know, perhaps they have. But we do have different appetites. So maybe you should be thinking about that and offering different portion sizes, and it could make a considerable difference. Something you should take away. So, that prevents food. Get it right and prevents food. And people like the idea of being offered different sizes. That's been tested as well, and a lot of your competitors are doing that now. They're offering lunch sizes for dinner, And then they're also coming forward as well. Would you like to take the rest home with you for tomorrow's lunch? Be proactive in that. People do feel embarrassed still about asking for that. It's not the norm. It's not the cultural norm to ask for a doggy bag. It's that terrible phrase, a doggy bag. But if you're offering it, would you like to take this for tomorrow's lunch? A lot will take it. So you're preventing that waste going in that bin, and you're keeping your customers happy and your margins up. So there's a lot of research on that, and that's all, again, it's on the website. It's freely available to you if you want to look at the depth, who's wasting, what they're wasting, etc. So what I'd suggest is, I move on, I think we've talked a bit about waste and different speakers this morning, and recycling's good. It is good, but it's not the answer to everything. Avoidance is the best thing. How can you avoid it in the first place? And that involves creativity. It's about thinking differently. Recycling is great because you can reuse, and then it'll be reused and remelted and changed into new products, etc. But if you can avoid it in the first place, that's where you make the real savings. So that's called the waste hierarchy. So the worst thing you can do is the landfill at the bottom, then energy recovery, recycling, etc. So the top is the area we aspire to get to. So we've been working with these signatories for a long time now, for 15 months. So as jury's in, we bring them together. They work with, they work with competitors, but they come up with solutions together. So this is what they think of it. They value the partnerships that we're creating. And what we're doing is to get them to stimulate change within the sector, to get it to be the norm. This is what people do. They work together, identify issues, change, and everybody wins. We're all quids in. We're stimulating growth. Okay. I'm coming up to the end. So what I think I've done is I've said There's food waste everywhere. We all waste food waste. We all create food waste, sorry. There are things that we can all do. We need to work with our customers. There's an organisation called Wrap that's bringing people together. We've got research coming out in a couple of weeks that will identify the true cost of waste, how much it costs per tonne, and it's huge. It identifies where the food is wasted in the value chain, in the supply chain. It identifies what you can do, so some real action one can take. What I'd like you to do is to think about food waste. I'd like you to think about what you can do. I think I'd like to think about joining us as signatories, as supporters of the Hospitality and Food Service Agreement. And I'd like you just to have a look at our access our information if at all possible. It requires commitment from all of us. We're all in it together, and we can all learn, grow, and benefit from addressing this. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Carl. Are you taking the waste bin with you? No.
Well,
you are actually.
I'm certainly not taking it home with me.
I think. Sorry. Yes. Yes.
Can I ask a question, please?
Mm-hmm.
Given your targets of waste management and your working group, councils across the country have different waste management policies. In Yorkshire, where we have, as we are classed as a business, we're self-catering, their policy is that every single bit of rubbish from the holiday cottage has to go to landfill. That is their policy. Therefore, what I do is I buy my own bins, and I actually take all the recycling out every 3 to 4 weeks and get rid of it. And it's 6,500 litres last year.
Wow.
So is within your remit, does it cover the ability to go and try and influence local councils to change their policy?
It does. It doesn't sound, it's nonsensical, that is, by the sound of things. It does, and we do work with all local authorities to try and get sensible solutions. There's lots of legislation out there that you have to work with. There's some balmy legislation, there's some very good legislation. But it's about identifying what doesn't make sense. Government are right behind reducing things like this, you know, and that I mean, we need to work together. It's not always as quick as you'd like, but we can take. If perhaps you can grab me later on, and I can take the details back because I'm not sure I can address it fully here on the stage.
I think you can leave the food waste. So someone from the kitchen is going to bring it.
Okay.
They're going to take it, because Carl's actually got to take it back on the train with him tonight. So someone from the kitchen is going to take it. In actual fact, here, because they're very green, they actually do recycle their food waste. It goes to an anaerobic digestion system. So they're going to empty the waste for him, clean it out, and give it back to him for the train. Okay? Good. Thank you very much, Carl. That was very interesting. Thank you.